Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Hi everyone. Today in this video we are going to learn the calculation of interest on capital. As we have already learned how to prepare the profit and loss appropriation account. In profit and loss appropriation account, what are the things we were using? That is providing interest on capital if it is mentioned in the question, providing salary or commission to a partner if it is mentioned in the deed, creating reserve if it is mentioned in the question, and paying interest on a drawing. These were the topics that we were doing under the profit and loss appropriation account. Now from here we will learn each and every topic in a separate way, then we will do the complete question of preparation of profit and loss appropriation account in a detailed way. Okay, see here, calculation of interest on capital. In previous video we have already discussed that the partner's capital account are to be classified into two parts. In previous video we have already discussed that the partner's capital account can be prepared through the two method. First one was fixed capital method and second one is fluctuating capital method. So under the fixed capital method we were preparing two account, two ledger book. First one is partner's capital account and second partner's current account. And under the fluctuating capital method we were preparing only one ledger book, which is partner's capital account. But times in a question the closing capital will be given, not the opening capital will be given. Remember the thing that whenever you will calculate the interest on capital, you will have to calculate the interest on capital on opening capital. Closing capital we cannot calculate the interest on capital. For calculating interest on capital it must be given the opening capital, but sometimes it will be missing that opening capital will not be given into the question. Then what we will have to do? First of all we will have to calculate the opening capital, then after we will calculate the interest on that capital. But in case of fixed capital, if question is mentioned fixed capital method or fixed capital, in case of fixed capital, if there is no any drawing from the capital, we will talk about drawing also, because here are two types of drawing. First drawing is drawing against capital, second drawing is drawing against profit. If there is no any drawing from capital, then in case of fixed capital method, the closing capital and opening capital will be same, there will be no change if it is not withdrawn any drawing from the capital or there is no any additional capital added into the business. But in case of fluctuating capital method, here the closing capital, value of closing capital and opening capital will be changed. In this way, if in question closing capital is given, at that time we will have to calculate the opening capital, then after we will be able to calculate the interest on capital. Now the question is that how you will calculate the opening capital, what formula you will use for calculating the opening capital. Okay, see here how you will calculate the value of opening capital. First of all, in question closing capital will be given. We will write here closing capital. Whatever the amount is mentioned, you can write here, no issue. Now here, what are the things that you have to add and what are the things that you have to less? If drawing is given, drawing made by partner, if it is mentioned in the question, then you have to add this one. If interest on drawing is given, then also this you have to add. And if share of loss is already debited, if it is mentioned already debited, then you have to add this one. All these amount will be added. Now you will write here outside. What will be the less? First of all, we will less if we had paid any partner salary or commission. Partners salary or commission, less this one. If you have any share of profit, already, if it is already credited, share of profit. If any additional capital, then you have to less this one also. Additional capital is given, then you have to less this amount. All this amount will be less here, you have to less this amount. Now whatever the final amount will be here, this will be the opening capital. This will be the opening capital. So this is the formula of calculating opening capital if opening capital is not mentioned in the question. Now here is the question. From this question we will learn how to calculate the opening capital, and then after how we will be able to know the interest on capital. See here, Ram and Mohan are partners in a business. Their capitals at the end of the year were 24,000 and 18,000. What is given here? Closing capital of two partners. First one is 24,000 and second one is 18,000. Now during the year, Ram's drawing and Mohan's drawing is 4,000 and 6,000. Here drawing is also given. Drawing amount is 4,000 and 6,000. This is the drawing amount. Profit before charging interest on capital during the year was 16,000. Profit before charging interest on capital. It means interest on capital has not been charged. How much? 16,000. Calculate interest on capital at the rate of 5% per annum for the year ended 31st March 2019. So here closing capital is given. Now what we have to do? First of all, we have to calculate the opening capital. Then after we will be able to calculate the interest on capital. See here, what will be the formula of calculation of opening capital? how we will calculate opening capital. Here are two partners. We will write here the name of both the partner for amount column. Here first one is Ram and second one is Mohan. What is given in the question? First of all, closing capital is given in the question. Closing capital how much? Ram 24,000 and Mohan how much? 18,000. Now the second thing is given that drawing is also given 4,000 and 8,000. See here, what is the formula? Formula is that closing capital plus drawing made by partner plus interest on drawing plus share of loss if already debited less partner salary or commission less share of profit already credited additional capital, then we will get the opening capital. So here drawing is given. Now what we will do? We will add the amount of drawing. So we will add here drawing. How much drawing is given? 4,000 for Ram, 4,000 we will write here and 6,000 for Mohan. Now what will be the amount? 28,000 and 24,000. Here profit is also given. How much? 16,000. If profit is given, then we have to less the amount of profit. So we will write here less share of profit. How much profit amount? Profit amount is given here 16,000. The profit sharing ratio is not mentioned in the question. As you know that if in a partnership profit sharing ratio is not given, then what we will do? We will distribute this profit into the equal ratio. Here the amount of profit is how much? 16,000. And how many numbers of partners are here? Two partners. It means we will divide in equal ratio, means first partner profit will be 8,000 and second partner profit will be 8,000. What we are doing here? We have to this amount of profit. Now what will be the opening capital? Your opening capital will be 20,000 and here 16,000. This is your opening capital, and from this opening capital now you will be able to calculate the interest on capital. You are calculating interest on capital for Ram. Then what will be the capital of Ram? We have find how much? 20,000. What is the rate of interest? 5%. So 5 upon 100. Here the interest on capital of Ram will be 1,000. Now what will be the interest on capital of Mohan? The interest on capital of Mohan will be 16,000 into 5%. It means 800.